Cape Cod, a sandy glacially formed peninsula, juts 40 miles into the North Atlantic Ocean from the south shore of Massachusetts. At the end of the last ice age, 12 to 20,000 years ago, as the glaciers that covered all of northern North America receded and melted, ocean levels rose. George's Bank, a plateau that lies 80 to 120 miles east of Cape Cod, eventually became covered with water. And once that occurred, the direct assault of the sea gave Cape Cod the shape and form that we know today. This occurred about 7,000 years ago. Since then, almost on a daily basis, the Cape changes. The winds, the tides, and the storms, creating new inlets, covering marshes, and giving us views of the Earth's surface in an ever-changing pattern. On the north side of Cape Cod, looking towards Cape Cod Bay, we find a gem of a museum settled on 300 acres of salt marsh and woodland. The Cape Cod Museum of Natural History offers visitors a window into the past, present, and future of the natural history of Cape Cod.
Our museum, we have a small building in which we have some exhibits, but truly our museum is the outdoors. It's the over 300 acres that we're sitting upon, for which we as a museum feel that our role, our mission, if you will, is to help to inspire people, to have people appreciate what's here, to have people respect it, to preserve it. So we feel that we are stewards of this acreage. We try to convey that in all the programs that we have.
There are always lectures, films, books to read, people to talk to, trail hikes to take, and so you're always learning something about nature. And there's always one more name of a bird you can learn, or one more little wildflower whose name you've forgotten that can be fun to relearn.
Cape Cod Museum of Natural History is certainly just the right size museum for Cape Cod. It's centered in Cape Cod. It knows Cape Cod. It's a small place where people can come together like our small communities and appreciate even more what we have on the Cape. It's just an amazing diversity of life here, and this museum celebrates that diversity in the best way.
Children have a natural curiosity about nature. Doesn't matter whether they're in their yard or in the wilds of the woodlands and marshes. It doesn't take more than just a movement or a glimmer to have a child stop and wonder.
Our work basically is focused on children, which is something that Cape Cod Museum of Natural History made a decision to do early on. Back in 1954 it was called the Cape Cod Children's Museum, and to this day a lot of its resources and efforts are geared towards educating children about the natural world. And one of our prime programs is the Kids Summer Program, which is attended by local children as well as children from all over the United States. Last year we had some children from Japan in the program. And it's a way that we get children to appreciate and understand what's going on in the natural world, help make connections, especially in today's world where kids are tied into electronics and computers and the mall. They're spending less and less time outdoors.
We take student groups and families out on field walks. My favorite field walk is Mud Flat Mania, and I've been helping teach that course for the new trainees who do Mud Flat Mania. Just about my favorite field walk, because we get to go out onto the mud flats at dead low tide and with a bunch of kids and parents and grandparents who have shovels and pails. We look for creatures that live out there, mostly marine invertebrates, and there are a surprising number of live animals on our mud flats in Brewster. Sometimes ones you don't see until you dig, sometimes ones you've not noticed because they're so tiny, and it is fun to make discoveries, especially with little ones. Although the grandmothers and grandfathers enjoy the discovery just as much as the little ones, I think, sometimes.
There are programs for retired people here in the Cape, and a lot of programs for children, very much backed by the retired people on the Cape. A lot of the children going to our Kids Summer program are supported by grandparents. In other words, the grandparents are paying for it, which is a very nice thing.
Let me talk a little bit about kids coming here and maybe for the first time experiencing nature firsthand. They are amazed when they come here and have the opportunity to see up close and personal, if you will, the fish that are behind me, the turtles that are swimming around across the room here, to go out into the marsh and to pick up and hold in their hand a tiny snail, you know, out of the marsh, to catch a fiddler crab out on the beach, that sense they get that this is something special in a special place.
There's been a lot of research lately, especially by nonprofits, just looking at ways in which adults actually have come to their understanding and their appreciation and their willingness to be stewards of the natural world. And in almost all cases, people who have a strong feeling as adults had a special moment when they were children in the natural world. Either they were with scouts, or they went camping, or they had some adult actually introduce them to the natural world in a way that was really meaningful and special to them. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. We are trying to make future stewards. We're trying to change their opinion, their ideas, how they look at the natural world around them by just giving them the opportunity to experience things for themselves.
The future will be, that's the great thing about the Cape Cod Museum of Natural History. Children here are already appreciating to a great degree the beauty and the nature here, and when they get to be adults, they'll come back. I know they will, with their children, and it will carry on. People will always care for this area, this place, and want to protect it and show others how wonderful it is and pass it on generation after generation.
We do have many kids in school groups that come here on a regular basis, and they're excited about things, just like right now.
The museum keeps growing. We've had very nice contributions to the endowment, so I would hope that 50 years from now the museum is even stronger than it is today. Attendance is going up. Our membership is going up. The museum continues to show considerable strength.
The Cape Cod Museum of Natural History integrates the three strands of its organizational identity as a museum of natural history, a nature education center, and a steward of conservation land. As we are surrounded daily by the wonders of nature, the Cape Cod Museum of Natural History brings all of this to us through exhibits, lessons, and guided walks. Whether you're a local resident or a visitor to Cape Cod, the Cape Cod Museum of Natural History, past, present, future, always a sense of place.